Hey, this is Rich Farm with KRC Realty and Property Management. I want to talk to agents today about realtor efficiency. The first thing I want to talk about is I want to talk about your time, because everyone says time is money, but time is more valuable than that. If you don't think time is more valuable than money, go talk to someone in a senior retirement home. They're going to say, I would pay all the money in the world to get a little bit more time. So we really need to make sure that as we're going through our daily life, whether it's business or personal, we want to make sure that the leads that we're following up on are quality leads. We want to make sure that we have funnels in place. So when a lead comes in, they're coming to us in a timely manner. We all understand the importance of speed to lead. We've all said that, we've all heard that. We want to make sure that the systems that we have in place are saving us time. Listen, we all want to be home to our families by 5 or 6 at night, and we don't want to be home thinking about the things that we didn't get done in the day. So the first thing I would say is if you're operating with an older iPhone, or an older phone, I have an iPhone, so if you have an iPhone 5 or 6, you need to go to the 10 or the 11. The 11 has the 2 lenses. I only have the 10, but I know the 11 has the 2 lenses. The camera resolution on the 10 that I'm using has the 4K. With the saturation and just I can do all the editing right there on the phone. It just saves me so much time. I don't have to take my cameras and upload them into Photoshop anymore or anything like that. And if you've been doing this business for a long time, you've looked at pictures on the multiple listing service. The pictures are dark. You can see them standing in a mirror and they're taking a picture of themselves. It's just really bad camera images. Pictures are everything. You need to do that. The other thing I want to talk about is your computer. If you have an older computer that has a 16-bit or a 32-bit processor as opposed to a dual quad or a quad core, it's night and day. If you have an older computer, you open it up, right? You hit the on button and it takes a minute, 80 seconds maybe to boot up. Well, if you're doing that 3 or 4 times a day, you're losing 3 or 4 or 5 minutes a day. That adds up over time. So there's a lot to be said about having a computer where you open it, it just boots up. And even if I were to hit the start button on this thing right now, because I did open it and it was on, but if I were to hit the start button, I'd be up and running in about 8 seconds, which is just phenomenal. I love that. I know people that have a newer computer, but instead of spending $1,200, they spent $600, and they'll sit there and they're sitting there waiting, and they're going like, I'm like, what are you doing? They're like, I'm waiting for my computer to boot. Really? This day and age, so you really need to focus on being efficient as you possibly can if you're going to be in this business, because if you have someone on the phone and you're like, hang on, my computer's booting up, and they're trying to get a comp report, you don't know these people, and this is it's a cold call that came into you. You got to be on your game, especially if your computer's not on. Or if you're out in the field, you want to be able to pull stuff up on your phone as quickly as possible. That is your sword. Your computer and your phone, when you're going into battle, those are the 2 items that you want to have. The other thing I want to kind of share with you is there's a friend of mine, I won't give you his last name, but his first name is Willie. And Willie, through the 80s, acquired quite a few properties in San Diego to the tune of about 4,000 doors. Then he condo converted over half of them. Now I think he owns about 1,500 doors himself. He owns a couple strip malls. And I meet with him about once every couple months. Him and I go out to lunch and we chat. And I'm always asking him, what about this, what about that? And he said to me one time, actually the last time we had lunch, he says, Rich, he's like, if you were to go into anyone in my office and ask him, what do you think about Willie? He would say, oh, he's the smartest guy in the room. I could have left the conversation at that because I probably agreed. A guy has 4,000 properties, condo converted them. Now he's got 1,500 that he holds. Most of them are all student housing. Sounds like the smartest guy in the room to me. But I asked that question. I said, why would they say that? He says, I'm going to tell you exactly why. He's like, because when I'm doing something, and this is very important, when I'm doing something and I've realized that I've done that same thing 3 times in a row, I go to my staff and I say, how can we fix this? I don't want to keep doing the same thing over and over. We need to make this more efficient. He's like, I've made my corporation, my operation so efficient by taking a step back and figuring out, why am I doing that same thing? If you're doing the same thing over and over in this industry, and I write the conversations I have with this gentleman down, and I try to implement into mine, and I go to my staff and I'm like, hey, come to me with 3 things that we've been doing over and over for the last year, and on a daily basis or on a bi-weekly basis, and how can we find is there software that we could do to improve this? Anything like that. And we've probably taken about 20 things, and we've actually implemented new systems and softwares that have taken those things off our plates so we can do more things. So those are the 3 things I wanted to bring to you today. So any questions about real estate, property management, or mortgage, give me a call. Again, Rich Farmer, KRC Realty.